Good afternoon and welcome to your weekly TV update from Cardiff News Plus. My name is Zhang. People in Cardiff have been flying kites to protest against drone strikes as part of a UK-wide campaign. So far, nearly 4,000 people have died as a result of the drone strikes in Pakistan, Afghanistan and Palestine. The majority of the victims have been civilians and children. Sharia Aurora reports.
Around 40 people gathered here at Cardiff City Hall to stand in solidarity with the drone victims around the world. This campaign, called Fly Kites, Not Drones, is to coincide with Navroz, the Afghan New Year. Flying kites symbolizes love and happiness in Afghanistan.
People's experience is the main thing they see in the sky is the humming of drones, so we wanted to really raise awareness of this new form of warfare, drone warfare, which is becoming much more prevalent over the last 3 years. I mean, 3 years ago, there were barely any drone strikes, but now there are hundreds of drone strikes all over the world.
Drones are unmanned aerial vehicles which are being used by the American and British forces for surveillance and attacks. Around 500 hours of flying time has been logged by British drones tested at Aberystwyth in West Wales.
We would like that testing to stop because we feel that the military use of drones is very harmful. That although we say, you can target people specifically, civilians get killed, that they're really very destructive.
Diplomacy is important when dealing with conflicts, according to Deanna Owens. She says war only leads to genocides.
It's so impersonal. Someone can be sitting in an office firing off a drone and killing people and then go home for their tea. And it makes it seem like it's a computer game and not real.
In the UK, drones are funded by the Ministry of Defence. People taking part in this campaign just want to show their support for those victimized by drone strikes.
Events like this will show people in Gaza today that we are thinking of them and we do have awareness of their suffering and we are trying to work to change the world.
It may only be a kite, but for people here, it is a symbol of hope and a terror-free life for those who are affected in various parts of the world.
UN Anti-Racism Day was marked across Europe by marches and rallies. An event called Stand Up to Racism was organized throughout the UK and also here in Cardiff. Campaigners wanted to raise awareness of the ways Muslims and immigrant workers are being mistreated. Petra Kovacevic reports.
Stop people dividing our communities. We've got to keep together and fight together.
Around 500 people, as well as local politicians and members of trade unions, gathered to fight the divisions and the anti-foreign mentality they think is currently growing stronger in the UK. For them, cases of racism and discrimination here are often a reflection of tough living conditions.
Our problems of racism become worse and get created as people feel the pressure and feel poverty and look to see, oh well, why has that black person got a job but I haven't?
The protesters also want to fight prejudice against Islam. They say Muslims are shown as a threat and their religion is often insulted, which can only be taught through proper education and media representation.
The more people understand, the more people interact with each other, the more they try to understand what is real Islam. At the moment there is two Islams. One is the media Islam, which the media portrays it, and one is the real Islam. And the real Islam is the religion of peace.
When EDL spread racist lies,
we fight back and organise.
When National Front spread racist lies,
we fight back and organise.
These people fear fascist attitudes are spreading across Europe and exist also here in Wales. Even though they think the situation isn't as bad as in the rest of the country, protesters feel more needs to be done to give everyone equal opportunities.
So the protest ends here by the City Hall. Wales has a diverse population when it comes to ethnic communities. More than 65,000 people belong to one, and more than 50,000 workers in Wales are born outside of the UK.
Some people from other cultures have things to offer that local people don't offer. Sometimes there are skills shortages which are made up by people who come from other cultures. And as we've been reminded today, if we go back a little way or even a long way, we're all from somewhere else eventually.
I think that sometimes we are not careful enough to watch for the much subtler kind of racism that exists. We need to be looking at statistics from schools, for example, careers, to make sure that everyone has an equal chance, and that's really what the important thing is, that everyone who lives in Wales has an equal opportunity in the future.
The campaigners fear the rise of far-right parties at the upcoming European elections in May. They hope Wales will continue to show its multicultural spirit and develop further its respect and appreciation for diversity.
The Big Dig, a campaign to get people down to their local community gardens, has taken place in Cardiff this weekend. The nationwide event has been celebrated in 6 different gardens across the city, where people volunteer to prepare the land for the new growing season. Lorena Rivero reports.
A first-hand experience in sowing and growing is what people could get at the Big Dig, which has been celebrated in Wales for the first time. This community garden, Macintosh, has been open only for 1 year, but the event managed to attract a range of people with different aims.
I'm just starting to get into my own gardening, so I thought I'd come down and get involved and maybe pick up some advice, and it's nice to be involved in the community.
I love getting my hands dirty in the earth and just seeing all the plants. It makes me really happy, so that's good too. It's like a therapy.
Here they try to use permaculture, a sustainable agricultural technique where everything that is generated is returned to the system, producing no waste. Their other aim is to construct a community around the project.
I would say it's more about gardening. It's about people, it's about engaging with the people that live around you. It makes the place feel a bit safer because I see people that I see walking past the garden, you smile at each other, you have a bit of a chat.
Across Cardiff, at the Riverside Community Garden, these ideas are very familiar. They celebrate their 10th anniversary this year, and they are seeing increasing numbers of people interested in organic growing. 180 have volunteered this year here, where self-sufficiency is the main goal.
Food security for the future is vital. We need to skill people up so they know how to grow their own food, how to feed their families in any patch of land across Cardiff, if there ever came a point where we need to. It's also a great way of getting people to eat more healthy food. We're finding by getting people involved with where your food comes from, which is a vital message, people are more likely to eat better, make better choices. It's not just about what they can find in processed packets in supermarkets.
Anybody can come down to this garden with no fee or obligation to return. They provide the help needed and a social environment to benefit from. Monica has been volunteering for the Big Dig this weekend, but she's been involved with this garden for 7 years.
So amazing what people can produce from small little spaces, raised beds, and that is a knowledge perhaps has to be passed on to the future generations.
This year's Big Dig is already over, but the growing season has just started and community gardens are committed to keep on spreading the seeds.
New figures show that stroke survivors lose a month of healthy life for every 15-minute delay in getting treatment. That's according to research from the American Heart Association. Here in Cardiff, special events were held to support people who suffer from stroke. Tong Yaohe has more.
This running event is held by Stroke Association. A charity seeks to help stroke survivors and fund relevant research. More than 100 people signed up for this event to support their families and friends. A twin brother, Alex and Thomas, joined this event for their father who recovered from stroke nearly a year ago.
We didn't know that Dad had actually had a stroke before until he'd gone to the hospital last year, where they revealed that he'd actually had 2 strokes. And it was, well, at that moment I thought, well, that explains a lot why Dad has been having memory lapses, problems remembering things. And it was at that point I realised, well, I think we both realised that we're going to have to be around a bit more often now.
My father's a very strong man, you see. When he has a stroke, you think he's had a cold or something, it doesn't look as if he's had a stroke. So for me it was a big surprise.
Back in their home, Mr. Grove, the twins' father, lives together with his son. Though there are some after effects from stroke, he is now able to do normal activities after a series of exercises.
I woke up feeling very odd and out of sorts. My face seemed to be affected and down the left side. And at first I thought I was dreaming, but then realized I wasn't, that I had a real problem.
Back to Build Park, though Mr. Grove didn't join the running, he was able to be there to support his sons.
Well, I'm very pleased that they've taken part. They've both run, both done well, and this is the first of these occasions, and I certainly hope there'll be many more to follow.
This event is one of 19 resolution runs in the UK. The money raised from it will be used to help stroke survivors.
We run a number of services throughout Wales. We obviously support stroke survivors in communities. We provide groups where communication skills. We support people when they're discharged from hospital, to signpost them to services that might help improve their lives. We give them welfare grants for pieces of equipment, or to help them pay bills, or if they want to go and do some training. We do the research, and we've got a helpline. So we've got a lot of things that we need really to raise a lot more money for.
Half of the strokes could be prevented if people made simple lifestyle changes, such as exercising more. That's through Stroke Association.
Have you ever thought about how much an hour of your time is worth? Through time credits, everyone's time is equally valued and transferred into a priceless contribution to local communities. Lindsay Ho has been behind the scenes at one local community group in Cardiff to understand how the scheme works.
Time credit scheme is an innovative way of encouraging people to participate in community work. By working 1 hour, they can earn 1 credit in return. Here in Ely, people join in this scheme by doing volunteer coaching for the home team Ely Garden Villagers. The team is run by a charity group of the same name, which is working with Action in Cardiff and Ely, a local charity who aims to improve their communities.
They're able now to, like I said, to use the time credits, and they've even taken a bunch of children in the minibus up to jump, when they've won a game or whatever, and it's really inspirational for the children to see that these coaches are giving up their free time to keep them off the streets, away from crime and drugs. Really, really good.
Linda is running 12 football teams, and many people have given up their free time to coach these young players. With the credits they earn, they can spend them with the children to enjoy some fun. One of the coaches, Richard, joins the scheme for his son, and he has been coaching for 2 years.
I take the kids to jump, or I take them swimming. I use the gym down the leisure centre. It really benefits. It really benefits people. You can take if they haven't got like that much funds, then they can use their time, get the time credits, and take their children and go and enjoy their days.
In addition to all those facilities, with time credits, we can also come here and enjoy a play or a movie. Sherman Comrie is one of the supporters of the scheme. The theater sees it as a way of bringing in new customers, particularly those who might not be able to afford theater tickets before. It is 2 time credits for most shows per ticket, but for small children, it is just 1 credit. Although the scheme has been introduced for 2 years, the theatre thinks the outreach can be further expanded.
I think at the moment, time credit scheme is only really running in the Ely Caira area, but I know that time credits have an aspiration to roll it out across more areas of Cardiff, and we are hoping that we can help them to do that and support them to do that, particularly perhaps bringing them over to Splottremore for Adamsdown, so areas nearer to us geographically, and kind of just enhance their profile really to make sure that more people can get involved.
Time credits is a twofold benefit scheme, which is not only good for the communities, but also for people who are involved in it.
People in Cardiff had a Bite of the Future yesterday, organized by the Society of Biology. The menu of the future event showcased alternative foods we may have to eat in the future. Vegetarians may want to change channel now.
They're very nutritious, very high in protein, calcium, zinc, iron.
The mealworms, you can just
They're crunchy and juicy, but they're not what most people eat for dinner in the UK. Roasted house crickets, mealworms, and green algae were provided to give people an idea of what we may eat in the future.
The locust was best because it wasn't like too crunchy or too soft.
So they're very interesting taste and texture, so slightly crunchy but not a bad taste, interestingly enough.
It was nice, it was different, and as I say, I'd definitely tried one in the past, but you didn't want to try one though, did you?
David Urey from the Society of Biology says with soaring global population and the increasing cost of food we eat now, people need to think differently about what's on the menu.
So we were basically just trying to get people in a fun way to consider alternative food types and to think about what people eat around the world and what people eat in the past.
Although the UK has a thriving farming sector, it exported £12.8 billion of food and drink in 2013. Britain is not self-sufficient in food production. It imports 40% of the total food consumed, and the proportion is still rising. So, is our current food system sustainable enough to support growing population, or have we come to the moment to put alternative food in top of our agenda?
I wouldn't put it top on the agenda. I think there's a cultural dimension in terms of like what type of food people want to eat. If people want to eat insects or want to eat meat from a lab or want to eat what type of protein do they want to eat.
Though it's important to research on sustainable food, Dr. Moragas Faust believes that we should think more about the root of the problem, that is production and distribution of our current food system. Zhang, Cardiff News Plus. And that's it for now. From all of us on the Cardiff News Plus TV team, thanks for watching and have a great week.